He is an experienced dean in Science and Humanities Department, SRM, Ramapuram, with a demonstrated history of working in the education management, skilled in lecturing, educational research, and soft skills. He has a strong educational professional experience. Let me welcome you all to Mr. D. Sundar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Are you audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah, thank you. So, distinguished speakers of the Child Safety Summit, respected Mr. Sundaramurthy sir, the ex-mission director ISRO, and the State Secretary, Mr. Vimal, and all distinguished speakers. It's a very happy noon to all. It's my honor and pleasure to be part of this Child Summit 2022. And also my wishes to my previous speaker, David Bara, who had clearly explained about the child safety and how to protect the child from abuse. So I am from India, and that too I am an educator. For the past 22 years, I am in the education field, that too higher education. So even though I have well experience in the higher education, I am also associate with school education also. So as you all aware that India is one of the largest populated country, so having the population of 1.39 billion people. But in that 41% consists of child. So that is 0.17, 0 to 17 years. So around 50 crore population belongs to child. So we have specific to Ministry, Women and Child Development, and a lot of regulations, rules are there to protect a child from various abuses. So now we usually talking about demographic dividend. So because India is in a young population, it's in a confident enough. There is a major resource for us, human resources. If we properly utilized, we can make many wonders. But now 50 crore people are coming belongs to the child. So you can imagine that how we can able to protect and in what way we can able to develop. So I used to browse and I used to collect the information, the advanced country or developed country. So what type of policies or what strategy they devise to develop the young population. So that too in terms of child. So few so one of the topmost country, they are doing wonders in the child development is Iceland. So they start giving the concentrate from the pregnancy itself. So once any woman got pregnancy, so the day they started the counseling and they are giving so a lot of other practices. So directly connect with the child brain development. So once the child is born, first 5 years, one of the most important formative years. So that we have to focus on that first 5 years. So we can create somewhat good value and good human being. So I wonder such kind of practices is possible with respect to an India. So where we have a lot of disparities. So in terms of income, in terms of living, in terms of all. So once, because we have to be focused more and we have to give more importance to the child development. So as far as India is concerned, we more focus on the body development. We are not focused on the brain development. So that is the most another factor influenced on all other reasons for child abused. So my request for the policymakers or the Youth United Council of India, so after a deliberate discussion of all the speakers, you have to collect and you have to put forward the recommendation. So how we can be able to improve the child development in our own society, because you invited speakers from different parts of the world. So now my thing is, even though we have different laws and rules, even we have a recent rules introduced by the government of India, POSCO, prevention of sexual offense, protection of child from sexual offense. But everyday newspaper, we used to see that, so so many person was arrested of POSCO. So now, whom you have to take the blame? So even though we have stringent law like POSCO, so if any adult done any misbehave towards the child, so there is a safety protection. So immediately the police or the legal framework is arrested and giving punishment to that youth or the adult. So taking as an educator, I like to analyze whom to be take this kind of blame. So here, a lot of factor will be influenced on that, whether parents how to take, parents of that particular youth as how to take, or the society, or the government, or whom you have to take on what type of policy we have to devise in the future to create a very good society with good value system. So I'm taking in this different aspect. So now, as far as India, so because if we fail to protect, or if we fail to develop, and if we fail to create good value ecosystem, so among the child, and if we create a good awareness, so what is good and what is bad among the child, it's very difficult for us to manage these kind of huge populations. So as an educator, the role of teacher plays a very vital role. So that too, the role of a primary teacher plays a very vital role, and primary education or elementary education plays a very, very vital role. But we are not focused more on the primary or elementary education. So 0 to 5 years, the child is in the home. So the full responsibility goes to the parent. And nowadays, both the husband and wife, they are going for working, and the children will brought up by the someone else, like servant maid or any other relative. So in that case, so we have to ensure that first 5 years, the parent how to take care the children. So all kinds of positive development should be happen in the child's brain. So that device and that expert from the medical field or expert from the social development field, they have to inform the parents having the children. So how we can able to imbibe. So very good music, or what kind of techniques or strategy so we have to use for development. So that is a way of parenting makes very, very vital. So creating awareness about effective and good parenting solves many problems. So a lot of problem occurs because of not effective parenting. So that is because I am the educator, I used to see the parent coming, and parents of the children, those are studying in the KG or the primary education. So that their role is a prominent role for. So for that, the other people like NGOs and the government, so you have to make the correct connect or correct development of the parenting. So the medical from and other people, so have to focus more on the parenting side. And the way the value system, day by day, the value system is coming down. And so how we can withstand and how we can able to make the value system, so that we have to make it. So now child abuse or child trafficking, so we are discussing a lot about things. I think another future speakers also, they are going to have deliberate discussion about so how to protect the child and how to save the child, and what are the strategies and what are the policies designed by the government to make all this kind of thing. But as an educator coming from the education background, so I literally seeing the changes in the behavior of a child. So taking to the school education, child from KG to 7th standard, they are in the normal pattern of behavior. So once child touched to 8th standard, that means the child is entered into the teen. So that is a year of the teen. So a lot of changes, hormone changes will happen. So in that particular aspect, we have to focus and concentrate, and you have to deal the child in a different way, and a highly specialized counselor role is much needed, and expertise is required. So we have failed to deal such kind of thing. So it leads to a lot of problem. So I'm the advisor of SRM Matriculation School, which is located in Chennai. So in that case, I'm past few years, I'm seeing that. So even parent side as well as the teacher side, they are complaining. So they don't know how to deal such kind of changes from once the child is entering into teen. They don't know how to approach. They don't know how to speak, and they don't know how to deal. So these kind of students or this kind of children, so that leads to different version of problem. So I request the speakers or the relevant policymakers. So the thing is, a specialized counselor have to be play a vital role of dealing the initial stage of the teen. So the children entered into eighth, normally coming to enter into 13. So once if you approach in a very effective manner, so we can solve all kinds of problem. So because it's not their fault, it's a fault of an hormone changes. So that plays the critical role. So because literally we are facing, but we have the counselor, so that they are dealing. A lot of changes is happening. So once if we leave the children as it is, then it's very difficult for us. So this is one part I like to because I have real time experience over that. I'm dealing all this kind of student. So now after during pandemic and after pandemic, during pandemic, the everyone is switch over to the online education, and electronic gadgets is a vital role. So they are forced to deal with the electronic gadgets, and they are forced to be attend the classes through online. There are a lot of distraction is happening. So a lot of behavioral pattern is changing. So now, thanks to the Almighty, now in India, so normalcy is coming in, and slowly we are reopen the schools as well as the colleges. So now the students are coming in, and we are facing a lot of changes in the behavioral aspect. So in terms of the physical condition, most of the students, they're obese, and in the behavioral pattern, the students, more changes we are seeing in the behavioral pattern also. So most of the students, they are addicted with the electronic gadgets or online games, and even the student cannot able to sit at a place for more than half an hour. So such kind of situation what we are facing, but we don't know. So we lost two very fruitful years. So because the student are not attended the schools, 2 years they stayed home, they attend the online classes. So any other industry, it's not an issue. So if any manufacturing facility, if they stopped production for 2 years, and nothing will happen, only production will stop. But as it is not happen in the education, if 2 years stopped, to regain that 2 years, it's very difficult for the teachers as well as the parent. So now a lot of parents, now they are coming in and they are complaining, sir, we cannot deal my son or daughter. Kindly, you have to take care as a teacher, you have to take care. He is not listening to our words. He is not obeying. So now a reason past for the past 15 days or 20 days, so a lot of parents, they are coming in and they are complaining. So here, the thing is, so now we have to, our role as educator, our role is a very crucial role at this junction. So we have to make the student, we have to approach them in a different way. So even though their behavioral pattern has changed, because we are the one for the positively, we have to approach those students, and we have to make. So these are the way what happens in the child safety. So related, I hope the different other speaker, they will touch upon the policies and regulations of child safety. So because I am the educator, so I know the real-time experience of what type of changes happening in the child as well as the youth. So both way. So now once if we cannot able to protect or cannot able to do some kind of thing for the development, it's a very, very, it will create to the disaster. Already I informed in the initial talk. So whether we can change over to demographic dividend or whether we can change over to demographic disaster, so that it's a hand of the educators and in the hands of this kind of Youth United Council Forum. So we have to take a lot of good measurable steps. So how to make the child development in a positive way. So now in India, as far as India is concerned, we are having a lot of child development policies. Now RTE plays a very vital role, a right to education. So it's a compulsory for first 1 to 10, 15 years, up to 15 years, it's a compulsory education. It's a very good move. A lot of fruitful changes is happening. So because initial education is one of the weapon, we can change the entire thing. If we provide a good right education, we can do wonders. So otherwise, it's very difficult for make it. So I'm also eagerly awaiting to listen all others, the speaker. So those are having a different approach and the different way of information. So making of how we can able to make child safe. So not only making child safe is not our goal. So we have to make the prospective and productive child. That is our objective. And development of child is a major objective of that. So all we work together for making a child development in all aspects, and the positive will create a good value system. So that will keep us moving very fast. So as a country like India, so it's very difficult, it's a challenging task, but each one of the educated, as a parent, as an educator, so we have to play a vital role for making this kind of drastic changes. So on this occasion, I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to Youth United Council of India, so organizing such kind of a topic at the right hour. So because after pandemic, a lot of behavioral changes and a lot of changes is happening. So this kind of deliberate talk definitely helpful for all other people, so how we can able to revive and how we can able to do some kind of development. So thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sundar. Thank you for expanding our knowledge about organizational child protection and enabling us to think and retrospect about the effective measures towards child protection and safety. Love the way you highlighted that education is the key for safety, be it digital or in real world too. And also, you spoke about the government schemes and policies that are available for child safety that the parents and professionals are not aware of. But I think it needed to be reached to the audience, the larger section of audience out there. Once again, thank you for enriching our event with your presence, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Sundar. Thank you. Moving